Hello, hello, hello. It is Christine Michelle, and today's episode is really going to talk about how to build momentum to aid your quantum leap. So first, before we go into a lot of the details, I have four things that I'm going to give you that will aid and start to build momentum. But I want to recap what we were talking about in the last couple of days. We talked about like the quantum leap, right? We talked about that it's not you efforting and you pushing and you trying to get there. It's none of that, right? We talked about it really is you leaning into the void, leaning into the unknown and the unexpected, right? It's also you embodying the energy of the you that already has it. So the you that already has it, what is she doing? How is she looking? What is she experiencing? Like what decisions is she making? What kind of, we talked about the PEV, right? The personal energetic vibration. So what are your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings, your emotions, intentions, decisions, actions? Like what are all those things? And do they align with the girl who's in the quantum soup who has the things, right? So keep all of this in mind as I'm talking about how to build momentum, because momentum gets built as you're being that person, as you are owning that identity. And if you guys haven't watched Identity Code, it's one of my programs. Like the first module is free and it talks about decoding, understanding like what you desire, getting clear on that. And then the other modules are, I think it's $97 in total. So definitely check that out because it really is about like, what is the identity, getting super clear on that and starting to embody and integrate that and bring that girl from the quantum soup into your reality now, because you wouldn't be able to know that if you wasn't already who you were. Do you feel me? You picking up what I'm putting down. All right. So let's say you know that you've been tapping into that. You're doing the identity work, like you're actually being the person. You know clearly like what beliefs and what thoughts and what things. You're doing the aligned soul alchemy, shifting anything that comes up, right? So you're doing all of this and you're being the person now, right? You're having the fun. You're doing the things, right? So what do you do if you want to build momentum? Okay. So there are four things that you can do to build momentum. And one of the first things I put it first because it's one of the hardest. And the reason why I call it this too, there's another way that I can describe it. And I'm going to describe it in this word because I know this word like flips people out often. Okay. So the first thing that you can do to build momentum is submission. It's time to submit to what you desire. It's time to submit that you said yes indeed to this and that it's already done, right? It's time for you to submit that I decided, I said yes to it. It's unfolding no matter what. And I use the word submission instead of surrender because submission is like the next level to surrender. When you are submitted, you are like leaned back. You're like, okay, head down. This is happening. I'm submitting to whatever. I'm moving with the flow. I'm moving in the guise of it's already happening and it's done. Right? You're trusting that God, universe, source, sugar daddy, whatever you want to call that sports, that powerful energy that is within you and all around you is handling the back end of everything. Does that make sense? So remember when I talked about a couple of weeks ago, manifestation, intentional receiving, 95% of it is spiritual. 95% of this is happening where you can't see, smell, taste, touch. Only 5% of that is the last piece that becomes like matter. So when 95% is spiritual, really human you gets to lean back and trust that it's happening. You get to go into submission. It's a deeper surrender, right? It's really you about like falling into that truth that you are trusting that this energy is taking care of things and you are letting go of all control. And I know that's hard, but guess what? When you do that, you release so much resistance, because when you are in submission to knowing that it's happening, the resistance is not even a factor at all. Let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Get your notes together because submission is first. Okay. What's number 2? This one is, it was a challenge for me, and it's always a challenge for my clients. But I don't use but, and we do it. Okay. Number 2, to create more momentum is celebration. Celebration is the symphony to appreciation. It's the symphony to receiving. It's the symphony that just comes together, and like the music of you just receiving and receiving and receiving. And the more you're in celebration mode, the more you're allowing yourself to celebrate the little things in life, the more good things happen. The more things that align with you, things you can celebrate, start to unfold. If you are here to experience the journey, there's always something to celebrate along that journey. It doesn't have to be you're waiting for the end thing to happen in order for you to be happy. No, if you celebrated every single thing along the way, you are celebrating it unfolding. You're celebrating all the examples, all the signs, all of the things. So I'll give you an example. A lot of times we decide, I just did this talk, and there's a woman who was manifesting, like she's manifesting new clients in a new, category. Like she shifted her focus in her business, and she's manifesting clients that are going to be more in that. Okay. And so what she gets to celebrate, she doesn't have to wait for the clients to come to begin to celebrate. She gets to celebrate her idea to switch to that new focus in her business. She gets to celebrate every like, every comment, every share. She gets to celebrate every person that was like, wow, that's cool. Oh, you changed it. Oh, that's great. She gets to celebrate every evidence that she sees of someone doing what she's doing and being a success at it. Because all of those things, and I call that driftwood, all of those things that she gets to celebrate, they culminate, and that creates more momentum. Okay. So when you are thinking about the journey, what things do you get to celebrate? Right? Everything that's happening along the way, you get to be like, woo, yay, right? You don't have to wait until the end result. Let's think about a baby. So when you are pregnant, like if you're pregnant, you're celebrating conception, right? Like, woo, we're pregnant. You're celebrating when you found out you're pregnant. Woo, I'm pregnant. You're celebrating when you get to know the baby's sex, if their gender. Yeah, let's celebrate. You're getting to celebrate like every single kick. Oh, right. You're celebrating along the way because guess what? You know, you've got 40 weeks, 40 weeks of this. You know, that's a part of the journey. You don't skip to say, I'm only going to be happy until this child pops out of my womb. When this child pops out, then I'll be happy. No, you celebrate the whole journey. So what's important is that when you're number 2, you create momentum by celebrating, and you create even more momentum by inviting people along on your journey to celebrate with you. When you're celebrating everything that's happening, and you're celebrating and like integrating that feeling of celebration and looking for how things are working for you, guess what? You're going to see more things that are working. You're going to see more and more things that are working. You're going to see this is working, and that is working, and that is working. I have a client, and she has an open head in human design. And so she does, look at a lot of courses and look at a lot of things. And so one of the things she was talking to, and one of the people were saying, well, maybe you can do this or change this way of doing your business. And then when she talked to me, I said, well, first, I want you to go back and look at all of the money you made from doing it the way you're doing it right now. And then she's looking at it. I'm like, you made so many thousands of dollars doing it the way you're doing it. You went there and talked to them as if it wasn't working. So they're trying to give you advice because it's not working, but look at how it is working for you. And she was like, oh yeah, you're right. So I was like, look, we as humans have a tendency to look at ways things aren't working for us. And being in celebration mode is forcing you, is leading you, guiding you to look at all the ways things are working for you. And when you start to see that and you're like, this is working and this is working and this is working. And, 4 more people watch this video or 7 more people open my email and wow, look at the momentum and look at how many people are coming. You are creating momentum. All right. Pick it up when I put it down. Okay. Number 3. This is going to be good. Number 3, movement. I love to call action movement because you're allowing yourself to be moved by that inner God voice within you. Deciding and moving is very important. Decide and move, decide and move, decide and move. And the more you allow your intuition to move you and guide you and stop second guessing, the more you're going to see yourself fly. Right? The more you're trusting that God, that inner God voice is speaking through you. The more you're saying, okay, I feel guided and led to do this. I feel guided to move here. Do you understand how movement and action are a little different? Sometimes action or doing is from your head. Movement is going to be from being moved. Allowing universe, God, source within you to move. And so when you're being moved, you're being held that whole way and you're not exhausted. You're not feeling like you're moving too fast. Doing too much and no, you're being moved. So there's a difference. So when you stay stagnant, I don't know what I should do. Like when I was first, I don't teach human design as much in my work. And then there was a piece of it that was saying, oh, generators, manifest generators, you have to wait to respond, right? And I was like, you don't need to wait to respond. There's always something to respond to. You get to always be in movement if you desire and allow God, universe, source to move you and guide you. And so that was something that I taught a little bit different. Once I started to grow and grow and grow and allow my true voice and God to speak through me, I was like, no, you get to move. You get to be moved, right? And when you're sitting stagnant, I had a couple of clients that came from human design and they would just wait. And I was like, what are you waiting for? I'm waiting to respond. I was like, you don't need to wait to respond. There's always something to respond to. I said, you just received inner guidance that this is amazing for you to do. That's the first thing. You get to respond to that. You get to say, wow, that would be great. That would be so fun. And then you start to look around you in the environment and be like, oh my goodness, this is an example of somebody doing that. Or, oh, this is something that I get to respond to for that. And oh, this is someone asking me for this exact same thing, right? Do you see? And so instead of like, she would be so stagnant. And then once it was time that she was like, okay, I'll launch it, the energy was gone. So you build momentum by moving and not like staying still. You move when you feel inspired. You move before you are ready. This means you're saying yes indeed to things that you don't even know you can do. Right? You don't let your ego move you. You move. You let God, universe, source move you. Okay? Do you feel me? So number 4 is discipline. I know. Discipline gets almost as bad a rap as as submission. Discipline. People hate it. I worked with this most amazing coach. Her name is Katrina Ruth, and she says discipline equals freedom. And I always love that quote from her because it's the truth. When you really allow yourself to decide that this is done, and you keep choosing that it is done over and over again, that takes discipline. That takes you letting go of what feels comfortable because you're doing something different. So it's going to feel, it's going to feel a little uncomfortable. It's going to feel like it doesn't fit yet. It's going to feel uncomfortable. And when you're moving and you decided that I'm going in this direction and you decide that this is working for you, it is going to take discipline for you to keep deciding when it's a lot easier for you to slack off and go back to where you were. It's so much easier to go back to where you were. That's why it takes discipline. Takes discipline for you to be like, I'm going to keep choosing this. I'm going to keep choosing this. I'm going to know that this is working in my way. I know that this is working for me. Yeah. Because see, when you're doing something and you push the gas forward and you consistently remind yourself of your choice and you consistently remind yourself of what you decided and you say, this is done. I'm deciding this. I'm deciding this. I'm going to keep deciding this. I'm going to keep deciding this. That's when you move the needle. That's when you move it. That's when it becomes a second skin. That's when it becomes what you're used to. That's when it becomes, you move the needle. Now this is now what your default is, but it won't become your default until you are disciplined enough to keep choosing what you've decided got to happen. It's so much easier to go back to comfort. It's so much easier to go back to what was working or what you thought, what's easier, what came before you. It's so much safer to go to old beliefs and old stories because it's familiar. It's familiar. But guess what? Comfort is going to be like stepping out of comfort is what is going to lead you to your quantum leap. What did I tell you yesterday? The 3 things to let go of: control, comfort, and common sense, because it's not going to be common. It's not going to be comfortable, and you can't control it. And 99% of people quit before it's right about to come, right before it's about to unfold. They quit, they let go. They're like, And what I'm asking you to do is to have discipline to keep choosing what you decided. Keep choosing what you pulled out of that quantum soup. Keep choosing that over and over and over and over again, even when things don't make sense. Even when it feels like you're not, like it's not unfolding. Even when common sense says, oh, you should go back. The example that I gave in the previous video was, okay, I said it would have made common sense for me to stay with my multi-6-figure career. It would have. It would have made sense for me, especially at the age that I was. It would have made common sense to keep going with that career and building that career. That would have made so much common sense. But I had to what? I had to keep going. I had to be disciplined. I had to keep choosing. I had to submit to the idea that this was where I was going to go. I had to submit to the choice that I decided. I had to celebrate each and every person that came into my world, and I had to keep going. Yes, I had to keep going. Okay. So these are the things that are going to help you build momentum. And I'm not saying they're super easy. To submit to your knowing that it's done, to celebrate every single thing, even the small things, to move and allow God, universe, source within you to move you. Listen to that inner God voice, also known as your intuition. That is not the easy route. To be disciplined, to choose it over and over and over again. That is not the easy route. But guess what? That is what's going to lead you to creating momentum in this 3D reality and allowing all of those cooperative components, all of those things that are coming on your space, all of those things to shift and change, and boom. You see? So my client who had the $102,000 day, I love this example because she did each one of these things. She submitted to the idea that, you know what, $100,000 month is going to happen, whether it's this month or next month or the month after that, it's going to happen. She was like, it's going to happen, so I'm going to show up. I don't know who it's going to happen. I don't know who's going to buy. I don't know who's going to show up. I have no idea, but I'm going to submit to it. I'm going to trust it. Right. And of course, we did a lot of work. We did a lot of shifting together, but she trusted. She celebrated each and everything, and it had nothing to do with sales. I'm so excited about this. This is a great new idea. I can't wait to download this. I can't wait to share this. Do you see? She celebrated and moved. She didn't stay still and say, okay, is it coming? Is it coming? No, she moved. She showed up. She shared. She created these calls. She did all the things that was necessary for her to do. And then guess what? The people booked them. Right? And then she was disciplined every single day, even though it looked to the 28th of the month. It was like, nope, you're nowhere near $100,000. You're nowhere near that. It's never happening. It's the 28th of December. You only got 3 more days left. You get to give up. Right? She didn't care. She stayed disciplined. She kept going. She kept doing it. She kept showing up. She took all the calls. She was like, I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm going to choose happiness. I'm going to choose the expansion. I'm going to choose all of this before the money shows up. And she was disciplined to keep choosing it even when the circumstances didn't look like it. So I want you to do what for your soul work for this. I want you to look at where can you submit more to the knowing that your desire is inevitable, the knowing that every single thing that you're doing, every single step that you're taking, everything is leading you there. And that's, is happening. It's as if I used this example earlier in in another video, and it was like GPS. So let's say you're desiring business success. You put that in the GPS And then you're going there regardless. Like if I put that I want to go to Los Angeles, California from St. Petersburg, Florida, and I put the address in there to go to the W Hotel or something, guess what? As long as I listen to the navigation, I'm going to be there. I'm going to go there. Even if I get off and go charge my Tesla, I'm going to get back on and I'm still going in the same direction, even though I have to charge a couple of times along the way. It doesn't matter. It's happening regardless because I set that destination. I decided that that's where I'm going. And I decided that I get to keep going along that path, even with the detours of charging and grabbing something to eat or picking up something or maybe even taking naps and going to hotels along the way. So where can you submit to knowing that it is just happening? It is #of course. How much more celebration can you do in your soul work? I want you to celebrate and celebrate with everyone, celebrate publicly, celebrate privately, just really celebrate everything that's happening for you along the journey, not just the end result. Celebrate everything along the journey. Every choice that you make, every time you post something, every time you show up, celebrate it because it all plays a role. All of those tiny, tiny, tiny steps play a role in you integrating and being the person out of the quantum soup. #of course. Yes. And then number 3, movement. What moves are you being called to make? What moves do you feel so inspired to make? Right? Where are you staying still and stagnant when you know there's something that you have been inspired to do, but you've maybe been too afraid or you don't want to get your hopes up or all those little things are the reasons why you don't move. And move. I want you to move with the power of the source, God, universe that's within you. Move, because when you're moving, you are not exhausted. When you are being moved, you are being carried and you're being supported along the whole way. Okay? And then lastly, for your soul work, I really want you to look at how you can be more disciplined. Remember, Katrina Root says discipline equals freedom. How can you be more free? By introducing more discipline. How can you manage your vibration first? The first video that we did in the Quantum Code series was about managing your vibration. And I told you why it's so important. It's not about ignoring your feelings, ignoring when you're sad. No, it's about being aware of what's going on, allowing yourself to fully feel all the things and not staying there. That's where the power is, not staying there. So it takes discipline to really tap in and manage your vibration. It takes discipline to be aware of what you're truly feeling in your body. It takes discipline to be aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. It takes really discipline to manage your personal energetic vibration and be aware of what's really happening. It takes discipline to choose the choice over and over again. It takes discipline to say, I decided, it's done. I decided, it's done. Yes, that's an interesting point of view, and I decided, and it's done. Thank you for showing me what I used to believe, and I decided, and it's done. Thank you for, yes, the circumstances say no one has asked for this new thing, and I decided that this is the direction I'm going, so this gets to work for me. It takes discipline to keep coming back when it's uncomfortable. It takes discipline to keep coming back when you don't know. It takes discipline to keep standing in the unknown and the unexpected. It takes discipline. And you have to choose. Am I going to keep choosing me? Am I going to keep choosing my desire? Am I going to keep choosing what I decided over and over again? And if so, it will take discipline to keep doing that. Okay? So those are the 4 things that will help you to create momentum. Okay. And what I am asking for you to do is to really do that soul work, and you will see things shift and change a lot faster. You will see your external world start to mold to you and to what gets to happen for you and to what you are already deciding is unfolding. And when you choose this, you keep choosing you over and over again, you start to acknowledge your own potent power, the potent power that is within you to create, right? The energy that creates worlds is within you. It is the part of you. It is who you are. and you have the energy to create worlds, and all you're asking to is create a couple of clients or create a successful business or the love of your life, or though, yes, you could create worlds, and you're asking to create some of these smaller things. Of course you can. Of course you can. Okay. So do that, tap into that. And I cannot wait to hear like some of what you've created, what you're seeing, and what the differences are as you start to do these 4 things. Okay. So on that note, hugs and kisses and all the feels. Remember, you get to be her now, and you get to take aligned soul action, aligned soul movement every single day. Yay!